Those who have damaged you in the past are now facing the consequences of their actions. The cosmos has finally restored equilibrium as they watch helplessly as their well-built facades crumble around them. Despite the fact that justice does not always come when anticipated, it does arrive on time, which is undeniable. Not only is it frustrating for them because they must cope with the repercussions of their actions, rather, it is the fact that you are completely removed from the drama, whilst they are drowning in the aftermath of their own acts. Your pleasure no longer depends on their approval or their presence. Because you rebuilt your life without them, they sowed the seeds of chaos, treachery, and sorrow. And now they're starting to harvest the bitter crop. Meanwhile, you've planted yourself in rich new ground and are flowering in ways they couldn't have expected. The finest kind of justice does not involve their demise. Rather, it is your calm smile as you walk away, untouched by the storms that others continue to face. Despite the fact that freedom was never in their plans for you, they are furious that you are free. Justice doesn't wait for permission. Rather, it comes at its own pace, decisively, without doubt, and without exception. Individuals who were formerly able to move discreetly and influence others are now entangled in the same web they helped to construct. The cosmos has spoken, and the scales are finally starting to settle. They moved freely for a while, certain that their actions would have no consequences. They were dishonest. They lied. They sought to use power to destroy. However, every action they did was being recorded in the invisible world, and the money they owed has finally been paid. They are enjoying the results of their effort, and there is no getting out of this scenario. In other words, their collapse was not due to a coincidence or bad luck. Rather, divine justice is unfolding before them. A well-planned series of events that began the moment they chose shame. Above everything, honesty. They felt triumphant because they left you devastated, abandoned, and doubting your value. However, they had just sealed their own doom. It is unnecessary for you to seek retaliation since justice will handle it for you. The exact hands that used to reach for you in an effort to influence you are now grabbing at nothing but air, desperately attempting to regain control. The same energy they used in bringing you harm is now coming back to haunt them in ways they did not expect, such as unexpected financial losses, betrayals by individuals they trusted, and legal difficulties from which they are unable to escape. These are not a succession of random events. Rather, they are the result of their own actions. The past is coming back to haunt them. They are presently immersed in the storm they caused. True, justice does not always arrive when you want it, but it does appear when it is intended to. And the energy of karmic justice is at its highest right now. Things that were previously hidden are now being revealed. Those who walked about without fear of retribution, believing they were free from the rules of the universe, are now being shown how wrong they were. They intended to shift the course of history, clear themselves of their guilt, and continue as if nothing had happened. Nonetheless, justice remembers every effort to break your spirit, every manipulation, and every act of deception. Each one of these things has a cost, and they are now paying it in full. It is possible that you have already heard stories of their demise. Those who collaborated against you and took joy in your pain are now dealing with their own personal repercussions. Some individuals are watching the breakdown of their relationships, companies, and reputations right in front of their eyes, as they lose all they have fought so hard for. Their true character is revealed for everyone to see as the falsehoods on which they have built their lives shatter, and no one is left to shield them from the reality. Others are receiving public scrutiny. Their genuine essence is revealed for everyone to see. The most poetic aspect is that their efforts to establish control over you failed because they spent so much time trying to keep you under control. They had no idea they were burying themselves in the process. Now, while they confront the tempest they made for themselves, all they can do is watch you ascend undisturbed, unconcerned, and completely free. They expected that you would stay devastated, bitter, and spend your days drowning in the hatred that they had caused you. You, on the other hand, are healed. You let go and went on without them. This is what irritates them the most. You were intended to feel defeated. You were expected to seek their affirmation. You were meant to want their presence. and you were meant to want their approval. They watched with bewilderment. How you failed. You, on the other hand, withdrew completely from their world, enabling them to continue living in the tragedy they had caused. Your satisfaction indicates their failure to cope, and your calmness highlights the disarray they are suffering while falling. You are prospering while others collapse. You are obtaining the same things that they intended to take away from you, and they are now readily accessible to you. They have lost their power, and the influence they formerly had over your emotions, choices, and destiny is no longer theirs. You owe nothing to them. Not even a conversation, no explanation, and not a single ounce of your energy. This was not part of their plan while they relied on you. They never realized how precious you were. They were banking on your forgiveness, which would have given them another chance to influence you. But you learned. You walked ahead and locked the door, refusing to engage in their game. They are now feverishly attempting to figure out how you escaped their hands. They watch the activity from the sidelines, disgruntled and concerned. There is a sense that every win you achieve is a personal assault on them, and every grin you wear is a reminder of their failure. Some of them hide behind fake accounts. Others attempt to seem nonchalant while they read through your life with hatred in their hearts. However, their envy shows through in every forced conversation and passive hostile comment. They are lurking. They stalk and mutter. Some of them hide behind phony accounts since they can't contact you. They're unable to shake you. They are unable to touch you. They're furious. The lack of their presence is meaningless, and their words are useless. You are unconcerned with their inability to succeed in breaking the pattern, rewriting your narrative, and recovering all aspects of yourself. You've done a lot. There is a lot of power in your quiet, and the most powerful response is your success. They underestimated you, and now they have to figure out how to live with it. While they were discussing, scheming, and smiling in your face while sharpening their blades behind your back, they thought they were safe in the darkness. However, the mask is starting to slip off. Individually, they are exposed. Individuals who look to be on your side. Those that supported you publicly but forced you privately. They are no longer able to hide their lies. Their true nature is now shown in its full. It began with little slips, anxious looks, and strained grins that didn't quite reach their eyes. However, the reality came tumbling down. Talks you were not intended to hear. Deeds they can't explain. There are also lies, unraveling with each breath they take. They were never on your side. Neither of them ever wanted you to win. They stood so close to you not to support you, but to watch you, identify your flaws, and undermine you without your knowledge. However, they were not successful. They are now panicked because their well-planned story fails to make sense, and their alliances are dissolving. These people that they had previously exploited are now seeing them for who they actually are. Exposed, vulnerable, but strong. Others will play the victim and rewrite the story in order to avoid the consequences of their actions, yet others will deny all that has occurred. The truth, however, is louder than their falsehoods. The tightness in their voice, the shift in their demeanor, and the way they avert your gaze knowing they have been apprehended are all signs of their energy before they say anything. They want for you to develop misgivings about yourself. Question your intuition and the wisdom of your spirit's warnings. However, you can now see things well. You're aware of the patterns, manipulations, subtle barbs disguised as caring, and phony praise designed to keep you from accepting responsibility for your own behavior. They intended to make your light less dazzling, but instead exposed themselves. Now they are presented with the exact destiny they desired for you. The betrayals they planned are coming back to haunt them. They're losing control of the secrets they've carefully guarded. People are talking about them. Their hard-fought reputation is being ruined, and they have nowhere to escape. They failed to understand the gravity of the situation as the rumors circulated. They were underestimating you, and now they must find a way to live with it, with the goal of breaking you. They threw everything at you, including lies, betrayal, and manipulation, hoping you'd succumb to the strain of their deception. Despite the fact that you did not, you persisted and took every blow, setback, and moment designed to shatter you. Despite the fact that you had every reason to give up, you remained firm in the face of an unforgiving and terrible storm. You ended up learning how to navigate the waves instead of drowning. You converted into a light, rather than being terrified of the dark. They mistook your charity as a sign of weakness and failed to see your unwavering spirit. They assumed you would always be accessible, present, and an easy target. This was not the case. To reclaim your power, you choose to move away from the pandemonium and focus on yourself. Things that used to bother you no longer have any relevance. The people who used to manage your emotions are no longer present in your life. Their words are useless, and their presence is irrelevant. You accomplished something they had not expected. You have healed entirely and deeply. You have completed the tasks of letting go of the past, severing the cords, and burning the bridges to nowhere. This marks your rebirth. It is a version of you that they are unable to reach, one that they did not expect. Your energy has been altered. Your aura is impenetrable, and your tranquility is unshakable. They are trapped, but you are prospering. While they're bitter, you're better. While they cling to the past, you're already in the future. They sense it, they see it, and they loathe it because they know you are better than they are. You have prevailed against everything that was meant to knock you down. As a consequence, you've become stronger. You were able to turn your anguish into strength. As a consequence, they were unable to injure you, access your spirit, or influence your story. This represents your independence. This is your freedom, and this is the justice you deserve. All of the signals have been clear. The message cannot be denied. The voice of spirit has spoken, revealing what was hidden and confirming what you already knew. You are no longer burdened by your past. Your focus is razor sharp, and your energy has been restored. It is a power that others cannot understand that drives you on. Despite their attempts to drain you, you are more alive than ever. They wanted for you to feel confused, hesitant, and doubting your own talents. Instead, your path ahead is as clear as it has ever been. You have regained your connection to your true goal. There are no more unneeded diversions or distractions. You are exactly where you are intended to be. The loneliness you once hated has become your safe sanctuary, and it is now yours to enjoy. All that remains is your intuition and the tranquil power that leads you on. There is no more chaos or intervention. There has been a change in energy. Previous cycles have been closed. The doors that formerly kept you hostage have been closed. Those that worked against you are aware of this. They see your detachment. They are aware that their influence has been revoked. They are searching for solutions with all their strength, looking for loopholes and trying to find a way back in. However, there is none. They were removed by spirit as a result of divine intervention. Once again, justice has been served. Every effort to re-establish a relationship, exercise influence, and negotiate their way back into your life has failed. All of the benefits that will come your way are safe, and the peace that you have built is eternal. Your intuition has led you to this area. You have reached a point where you are in agreement. You have full control and are unstoppable. The murmurs you previously disregarded are now audible and distinct. They were mistaken in assuming that you would always look back on them and need their help. They have no option but to acknowledge that you are aware of the problem. Even before you had proof, before the falsehoods were revealed, before the masks were removed, a voice within you whispered that something was wrong. Your spirit felt it first. There was tension in the air, an uneasy silence, and forced grins that never quite reached their eyes. One could not fully explain the impact of each contact. You were told that it was all in your brain, that you were being unduly careful and suspicious. However, intuition is never an illusion. It offered warning after warning, including missed calls, unanswered messages, the way their energy changed as you entered the room, and your gut sensed that they weren't who they claimed to be. The spirit communicated, led, and protected. Divine intervention may take the shape of a delay, disruption, or sudden termination that does not make sense at the time. God's involvement does not necessarily manifest in the form of a miracle. The banging shut of the doors was not a punishment. Instead, it was a blessing that they did so. There was no abandonment towards you. Rather, you were steered. If you had stayed, you would have been caught, bound by manipulation, and trapped in a cycle of deceit and control. On the other hand, you were meant for something greater. Things became clearer as you continued to listen, and the truth started to surface. Piece by piece, as you continued to listen, it became difficult to ignore the indicators that you couldn't turn away from what was being offered to you. They made an attempt to confuse you and keep you from trusting yourself. Their preferred weapon was gaslighting, which included manipulating language, rewriting history, and making you doubt what you previously believed to be true. Spirit, on the other hand, does not allow falsehoods to continue indefinitely. Each illusion was destroyed, revealing the treachery one at a time. Individuals in whom you previously trusted disclosed themselves without even realizing it. Their own conduct. I told the tale. I won't be puzzled anymore. I will never longer second-guess myself. And I will never longer avoid the truth because it hurts too much to face it. You've got a clear view now. You do not doubt your sentiments. You move differently as a consequence of this. Spiritual guidance leads you out of the darkness, giving you the courage to walk away and demonstrating that peace is more precious than forced relationships. It was never meant that those who previously had access to you continue in your life. They were meant to be lessons, catalysts for growth, brief chapters, and shorter-lasting partnerships. As your self-confidence grows, so will your intuition. And they felt that the more you let go of things, the blinder you would become for the rest of your life. They were misguided in assuming you would never wake up. They have no option but to accept that you no longer seek closure from those who only know how to break things. You stopped rehashing talks and sought for answers that didn't exist. You stopped waiting for apologies that would never arrive. Letting go was not indicative of weakness. Rather, it was a symbol of dominance. This meant choosing peace over chaos, independence over connection, growth over stagnation. They got the impression that you would always be accessible, that you would leave the door open in case they were incorrect. Rather of merely closing the door, you have fully eradicated it from the room. There is no way to go back. There are no possibilities to change the past, no second chances. In the beginning, they laughed because they were convinced that you would return, miss them, and eventually break. They were unprepared for your disappearance. They were unprepared for a world without you. They were not willing to let you move on as if they never existed. The stillness deepened, the distance expanded, and the awareness dawned. They were unprepared for your bodily absence. Losing control was not a form of retribution. This was not a game. Rather, it was about survival. You had no option but to do it. They robbed you of your generosity, loyalty, and love over an extended length of time because it was the only way to heal yourself. And they drained you of your riches. They mistakenly assumed that your patience was a scent. Then something changed. Something clicked. One morning, you awakened and realized you had hit your limit. I'm done explaining. I am done waiting and believing in possibilities that will never come to reality. They knew it even before you said anything. They sensed it. The vibe altered. They had lost their grip. Their hitherto held authority has been destroyed. They sensed it because you didn't simply walk away this time. You were rising above, elevating, and transforming into a version of yourself that they did not want to see. They attempted to bait you in order to elicit a response and draw you back into their web. However, it was failed because you didn't just walk away. The act of letting go did not indicate defeat. Rather, it represented triumph. Your time, pleasure, and clarity will be restored to you. They don't understand how you did it, how you were able to eliminate them so swiftly, and how you went on without looking back. When people are fixated on the past, it follows them around. You are the one designing your future while others wait for a return that will never come. You're doing something entirely different. They watch from a distance, hoping you'll fall, stumble, and need their help again. But you will not. The attachment has been severed. The lesson has been learnt, and the route is clear for the next step. The lack of their presence is a gift, and their name has no power. Their presence does not elicit any emotions. Giving up did not ruin you. Instead, it strengthened you. They have no option but to recognize that your recovery has benefited others as well. It created shockwaves and changed everything. People observed your ascension, metamorphosis, and rise to untouchable status. They never imagined that you'd be able to break the cycle, escape the patterns, and reinvent the tale. Some people were inspired. Some people were threatened. And others were appalled by your behavior. Your strength forced them to face their own flaws, and your calm showed the storm that was brewing inside of them. Some individuals tried to follow your path, while others tried to pull you back. However, none of them succeeded. You become the evidence that they want to avoid seeing. Proof that healing is possible, proof that freedom is reachable, and proof that their acts were without reason. Your success offends those who prefer to stay stagnant, and your brightness blinds others who refuse to pursue their full potential. There are a few individuals who talk about you, some with admiration, some with contempt, and others with sadness. Despite the fact that they wish they had treated you better, believed in you, and continued to have access. They don't. The game changed as a result of your healing. They now must learn to live with the consequences. The equilibrium has been restored. Justice has been carried out, and you may now enjoy tranquility. May all wounds be healed. May every scar be converted into knowledge. And may every treachery be turned into force. Any weapon created to defeat you will fail. No one will oppose your destiny, and no darkness will be able to dim your light. They cannot approach you because you are divinely protected. COVID-guided and raised, allow the flow of abundance. Allow love to find you, and let success pursue you. Your path may be unhindered. Your energy may be sacred, and your spirit may be unwavering. Keep the past in its place, and let the future emerge in a manner that benefits you. Your name is blessed. Your journey is fortunate, and the next stage of your life is unstoppable. As a result, you should resist any attempts to draw you backward. They have no option but to accept this.